Biden administration facing a new problem at the U.S. Mexico border as a flood of migrants attempt to enter the U.S. According to a new report, there is a border backlog because other nations refuse to take migrants back. Alex Capriello live in Southern California with more on what steps the governments are taking to alleviate these issues. Alex?
Yeah, good morning, Adrian. We just received new totals for the month of October. The number of border crossings last month hovered around 164,000. That marks the third straight month of declines of border crossings. However, extra context, it's important to note that that number is still up 128% compared to this time last year. So clearly a national security and humanitarian crisis on hand for the Biden administration as they consider the influx of migrants coming from countries who refuse to take them back. Namely, this is Venezuela. We're hearing Axios reporting that there are more Venezuelans in U.S. custody right now than any other nationality. However, there are other countries contributing. Take a look at this. These are year-to-date numbers. As you can see, we're also looking at Cuba, Venezuela, and Nicaragua. These are some of the least cooperative countries in regard to returning migrants who don't qualify for asylum. Now, currently, Venezuelans don't need to show a visa if they want to become a tourist entering this country of Mexico. And the U.S. really sees this as the problem. They see this as perhaps a way that Venezuelans are gaining easy access to the U.S. border. The Department of Homeland Security has asked Mexico to elevate some of those entry requirements to make it a little bit harder to have some of these Venezuelans enter the country and perhaps gain access to the border. We're told that Mexico is currently looking at some of those solutions.
Alex, I have a question for you, and maybe you can just kind of give me some backstory here. There was a little girl who was potentially, she was reunited with her mother. Can you explain?
Yeah, this was something that happened a few days ago on the Texas border. U.S. Border Patrol says they had to rescue this little 5-year-old who was stranded out on an island. The good news here is that that little girl is okay. She was reunited with her family. But they say that this is actually a tactic that human smugglers use in order to gain cooperation from the people that they're trafficking. They actually separate those families. U.S. Border Patrol able to step in quickly, find that little girl, and reunite her with her mother. Also important to note here, these were also Venezuelan families.
So can I just clarify here? That little girl was stranded by smugglers, potentially the cartel. We don't know who brought her over. They abandoned her, and somehow border agents were able to unify her with her mother.
Yeah, that's how U.S. Border Patrol explains it. They say that, you know, some of these human smugglers, they have to gain compliance from the people that they're actually transporting across the border. Some ways they do that sometimes is by actually separating the families in order to get people moving in a way that actually enforces cooperation. So the mother was able to flag, actually, the U.S. Border Patrol, say, hey, I no longer am with my 5-year-old daughter. Border Patrol swooped in, saved the girl, and reunited them, and now they're all in custody.
And that's a wonderful, happy ending to what is a very sad reality of this situation here at the border with, of course, them using coercive tactics with families and human trafficking, certainly not something that will be easy to solve. Alex, thank you so much for your report. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.